Hello everyone and welcome to the all-new Formula 1 2022 game. I've been eagerly anticipating this game since it first appeared on the Steam store of the all-new regulation cars. With the new rule set and design of cars allowing for closer racing so that there is more action on track, I'm hoping, like in real life, there is more room for a backmarket team to be able to hold its own even in the middle pack. But first, I'm not new to the Formula 1 games, having played each title since 2019. To familiarise myself with the game, I have done a few solo GP races to get a little bit of a handle of the new vehicles and how they handle. Today we're going to start a new My Team career. Now this won't be any normal My Team career, and the reason for that is I'm not going to use a steering wheel or pedals. I'm going to see how well we can go with a mouse and keyboard against hard AI. Here you can see we are going through what assists we're going to have or not have. I do end up changing anti-lock brakes to on. I thought I could race competitively with lockups, but trying to manage it without force feedback is quite difficult when you can only use audio cues to know when you have a lockup. I'm deciding to make things just a little easier for us to have traction control on full, so that we don't just spin out all the time, as again, mouse and keyboard is hard to gauge stuff without force feedback. Dynamic racing line is there only for the corners, just so that I have a visual cue to know how much braking I need to give, again because of keyboard. And we are doing an automatic transmission. Keyboard controls are wild, and I had to spend 20 minutes going through and tweaking what was originally, in my opinion, terrible control layout. Seriously, who sets A and Z to accelerate and brake? I am confident enough from my previous experience and previous titles to turn off ERS and DRS assist, as I know when and when not to trigger them. I am deciding to keep pit assist on, as it will be a short time for me to relax and compose myself for the rest of the race. Weekend structure, we are going to do full practice so as to maximize R&D, full qualifying session so that we have a chance to prove how quick we can go, and finally session length long. This is so we can experience the race enough for anything interesting to happen to occur, but not the full race length of 50 plus laps. Finally, in simulation settings, you can see that we have the AI difficulty is set to hard, and that for vehicle damage we are opting to simulation damage, as we are wanting to make this as a somewhat immersive experience and changing the recovery mode to rewind. Though in this series I will not be touching it if I can help it. Moving on to customization, I'm opting to go for the driver number 13 as it is one of my favourite numbers and lucky for some. For our driver, I decided to go for the pearlescent opal driving helmet as I quite like the look of it. The driving suit along with the team colours are the main colours of the channel and I find look quite good for our team. For the team setup, I chose quite a safe option with our primary and first sponsor to be Xformig. I went with them as the goal was quite easy, finish a full season. I went with the Renault E-Tech engine as it was the cheaper option of the lot. Its stats in comparison to the other manufacturers wasn't the best. However, I wanted money left over so to be able to afford our second driver, but with the future potential for an early investment into our facilities. Next, our teammate, I decided that Theo Pourchaire was the right man with the necessary skills I was looking for to sit as our second driver for the team. Finally, the emblem. I went with chevrons as they were the closest thing we had to flames, and naturally went with our fiery colours to match. Now with all that said and done, let us move on to our interview with Will Buxton and our car reveal.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. We're here at the headquarters of Formula One's newest team for an exclusive first look at what they will be bringing to the sport. It's always an exciting moment to welcome a new team onto the grid. However, what makes this occasion a little more special is how strikingly different the cars are this year. Yep, the long-awaited new regulations are finally here, and with them, the start of the next era of Formula One. The 2022 season ushers in a change of direction to the regulations aimed at promoting closer racing, with new aero additions in the form of swooping front and rear wings, along with the new eye-catching 18-inch low-profile tyres that will push tyre technology to the limit. So then, The question remains as to whether this team can grasp the opportunity before them with both hands and lead the charge against the rest of the paddock. We'll find out soon enough, as the new season is just about to begin. But first, let's see the unveiling of the team's car and meet the owner of the brand new Formula One team. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
With this first question, I decided with a humble approach, but it is also true, without a good team behind the drivers and the cars, to be able to compete competitively would be nigh on impossible. And if I was in this unique position myself, this is exactly what I would have said.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
Again, like I said earlier, I believe that Theo has a certain set of skills that fit perfectly for our team, and yeah, I honestly think in reality, being asked to join an F1 team would be a huge honour and a privilege, no matter how new or where the team sat in the standings.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
Now, this is one of those important questions that the game throws at you, one that will affect the level of any one of our facilities. Knowing that these new cars built around the new rule set are quite heavier than previous year's cars, I decided to choose chassis balance so we had some earlier improvements on weight reduction in the vehicle.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
With this decision, again, I was thinking about getting as much weight reduction for the car as much as possible.
Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
I decided to go with an aero department answer for this one. This is because I believe that weight reduction and aero go hand in hand with making a more faster car, and that getting early upgrades and reductions will help pay off in the long run for good early results.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
This final one, I had to go with durability. Durability is a number of things, but when I made this decision, I was fully thinking of the stats of the engine and how less reliable it was compared to other manufacturers, which is what cemented the decision to be durability.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
Before the first race, we had time for some activities. I decided to go for a 6-day driver training camp to get Theo's skills up and to get some resource points, as well as pre-season merchandise sale to get some more money in the bank.
Okay, this is the ERS management test. Hit the target time whilst managing your battery charge. The more efficiently you use energy throughout the lap, the higher you'll score. Use your overtake button for maximum power, but remember that it will drain your energy rapidly.
We are on our way in our first training session with our brand new car working on ERS management. At this stage I still had anti-lockup brakes off. And well, you can see and hear for yourself how awkward it is with a mouse and keyboard setup. It was after that first practice session that I turned on anti-lock up brakes to on to give us a little bit of a fighting chance. I mean, I'm already hampered with the fact that I'm deciding to use a mouse and keyboard, so why nerf ourselves any further to the point that we will not be competitive in the race. After a few mixed results in practice sessions, we move on to qualifying and truly put our new car to the test. Let's see how well our car can go around the Bahrain track. As we cross the line, we're on our way to put in our first competitive lap in the Bahrain circuit in the all-new My Team Korea season. But what would our time be at the end, knowing that we are still essentially a stock F1 car, so where would we place? And we go across the finish line with a lap time of 1 minute and 34 seconds, which is for now is good enough for 5th place, but will it hold? Well, we've arrived back at the garage and we're already down to 8th place, so let us just speed up the event a little bit and watch as we drop down the leaderboard to 18th. And I decide it's time to go back out there, see if we can get a little bit higher than 18th, and we can do better than that. So we begin our second lap of the qualification round, and we're already 11th tenths down. Take the first corner very slow, second corner is not that great either. We're pushing up the straight at the back end. And we're slow through turns 5 to 7, a bit wide on turn 8, with a very slow power up into turn 9. By the end of the lap we are 400ths down, and it's not looking good. Results for the first qualifications are in. Leclerc is the fastest man on track, with both of the Mercedes team coming in 2nd and 3rd, with the reigning world champion sitting in 5th. But where are we located? We are knocked out and we are in 21st place with our teammate in 20th. This is going to be a hard race ahead for us to gain places.
Of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Perez, George Russell, and Hamilton. Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Ocon, and Lando Norris. Magnussen, Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, and Mick Schumacher. Joe, Ricciardo, Alex Albon, and Sebastian Vettel. Stroll, Théo Pourchaire, the owner driver, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. A new season season, then a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
We are looking into our race strategy, and the default one is saying mediums onto hards, but I decided to go with the personalized race strategy that we established in the practice session, which has to start on softs and going on to the hard compound tyres. 5 red lights, and we start the first Grand Prix of the My Team career in the F1 2022 game. We have a little bit of a slow start with Latifi pulling up over on the right hand side, and we're taking a look down the inside, see what it says, move over to the right, and we do a large lunge down the inside, rubbing tyres with Ricardo, and a little bit of collision in the rear as we allow him pass. We have a quick look to see if we got any damage in our little data plate there, and we go for another cheeky little lunge down the right hand side, and we are now up in 14, forcing Gasly back behind us. Let us have a look at the replay then of the start. You can see we follow Albon out onto the inside as he is pushed out by Ricciardo, who's getting the elbows out, and we continue to the first corner, committed to the inside line, forcing our way into the pack with brute force. We return back to the live racing as we enter turn 11 into 12, gaining on Ricciardo and Tsunoda, who's holding back Ricciardo. Take a little look on the right, we come down to the left. Tsunoda is slow into the final corner, into the home straight, forcing us to put on the brakes, and Tsunoda's in. Tsunoda has got damage on his front wing. And his teammate Gasly makes a move on the outside, but we get him back with a switchback, coming in late on the brakes on the inside into turn 1. But later on in the lap, and Ricciardo locks up into turn 14, so we overtake him, cutting in front, but we don't have the power, and Ricciardo comes back up on the right hand side, but we've still got our nose in. We still have our nose in, and we squeeze him a little bit in the inside of turn 1, and he's still there into turn 2, but we get the overtake officially, and he stays behind us. So we go into lap 4 in the same spot, and Ricciardo has got his nose in. We are forced to take the corner a little bit wide, and he is through. Coming into turn 13 on the same lap, we're right up his exhaust pipe. We follow him down the back straight, come up into the outside. He's got the inside line, but because we've got our nose in, he's forced to take a tighter turn. We bang tyres as we come around the corner, but the Honey Badger still stays in front of us. But look who's coming up on our right side. We have Guan Yu Zhou powering through. Looking on the inside of Ricciardo, in between us, we have 3 wide into the first corner, banging tyres. Guan Yu Zhou has a lot of speed, and he officially overtakes Ricciardo and is right up my exhaust pipe into the next few corners. Let us have a look at the replay as we come down the main straight over the finish line, and as we go 3 wide into turn 1, we're on the outside, Ricciardo in the inner line and Guan Yu Zhou in the centre, all of them backed off, and we catapult forward to stay in the lead between the 3 of us. Lap 6 coming through turns 3 into turns 4. Guan Yu Zhou comes out of nowhere and overtakes us, and as this happens, Fernando Alonso's out. He is out. He has a mechanical failure. He is parked up in the side road there. It's not good for us either because we share the same engine as them with the Renault E-Tech engine. Coming off the back of that, we brake late into turn 8 and Shoemaker's coming up on our right hand side. Oh, Shoemaker locks up on the back left, I think it was, into turn 10, and we're through and past. However, he does have his nose in, so we are giving him a little bit of room. But he's tucks him back in behind us, and we remain in position in 13th place. Coming out of turn 3, Shoemaker powers up the inside line. As we turn into turn 4, we've got the overlap on him, but he's got the power. But we stay with him wheel to wheel through the next few turns and maintain our position in 12th place. However, it's not for long as we go deep and slide slightly sideways into turns 10. Shoemaker getting a much better exit out of the corner as powers past us, and then Gasly also powers past us, and we're actually touching his rear end with our front and managed to re-overtake him as we exit corner 13. Looking at a replay then of the earlier in the lap, we see when Shoemaker originally overtook us, and it was wheel-to-wheel fighting around turns 5 to 7, retaining track lead. However, coming into lap 10, we do that little half drift, and Shoemaker powers past us, and we take a little look down the inside, go wide, and then Gasly overtakes us into turn 13. However, we somehow get a long dive switchback on Gasly, coming down to the final corners 14 and 15. And our teammate makes contact with Gasly. We've got our scheduled pit stop, so we're heading in, but our teammate comes in. Oh, this is a disaster for him.
One of the Haas cars just ahead of you now.
Ready to perform their magic on the car. They're going to be aiming to achieve the fastest pit stop time possible.
We complete our one and only pit stop. Unfortunately for our teammate having to double stack, he is delayed significantly, which essentially puts him out of the race. At the end of the straight into turn 4, we brake late and go deep, allowing Ricciardo for an easy pass past us. Let's have a look at a replay as we come down the straight into turn 4. Ricciardo's right up our exhaust pipe. Comes in the inside lane, we go a little bit wide, we brake late, and off the track we go slightly, trying to get used to our hard tyres that are still cold. Meanwhile, further up the road from us, Sebastian Vettel, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi all having a little vie for each other's positions. Wheel-to-wheel racing. Then they go 4 wide briefly going into turn 4. Vettel and Latifi going wheel to wheel into turns 5 to 7. This is a hard fighting battle between the two drivers. Even into turn 8, they're still going wheel to wheel. Oh no! Vettel's lost it! His rear right tyre touched the curb and he spun around. What awesome racing we were seeing until that, so unfortunate. Coming on to lap 11 then, we're going down the home straight and Gasly just pounds past us. However, we do the old switchback maneuver and re-overtake him. Coming out of turn 10, Gasly does unfortunately get the pass at us at this stage. We had no more areas to give and not enough power to find him any further. Towards the front of the pack, leading into lap 12, Sergio Perez has a little bit of an argy-bargy with George Russell, and they are wheel to wheel coming around the first few corners until Perez makes the final overtake, getting in front of George Russell. Coming along the back straight, Leclerc is coming out and makes contact with Sergio Perez, getting in front. Looks like he'll be coming back in for another pit stop at the end of this lap. Coming to lap 21, Leclerc's just pulled out of the pit stop in front of us after pitting again. And as we're powering along the straight afterwards, oh, someone has come off behind us. Let's have a look at the replay. We've got Lance Stroll coming down the home straight, and they hit the curb and they just spin out into the center of the track. It is just unfortunate for Lance Stroll as he gets passed by not only his teammate but a few other competitors. Lap 25 on a 26, Charles Leclerc is back in the pits. He's having a mare of a race. Moving on to lap 27 to turn 10, we almost have the same incident as Stroll as we half drift into the corner. Let's have a look at the replay for a better view of what actually happened. Our back right tyre touches the curb, causing us to just spin slightly sideways into the corner. You can hear the tyres squealing ever so slightly as we do drift slightly, but not enough to lose it. Max Verstappen is going to be our race winner at Bahrain, of the very first race of my team career 2022. We crossed the line in 12th place, which is a very good performance for our newcomer team in our very first race. Also picking up driver of the day. What an excellent race that we had today.
That's a fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the desert. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Red Bull puts up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Review the driver's standings. Max Verstappen's excellent result today sees him take over as the new leader of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
Let's move on to the constructors, and Red Bull take over as championship leaders. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, what a performance for us, starting off 21st in the grid to finish up in 12th. Unfortunately outside of the points, but showing that we can be competitive. In time, I think I get more comfortable outside of the videos with anti-brake lockups assists off. We will introduce it into the My Team career mode in time. That is all we have time for today. Remember to leave a like if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new around here and would love to see more Formula 1 content or any other gaming content, and leave a comment of your thoughts on the video. Until next time, take care.